another edition of The Real from Home. Ladies, are y'all ready for some girl chats?
Yes, Amanda.
Yes.
All right. So, up first, being present for the birth of your child is a incredibly important and fulfilling experience. For right now, I think a lot of parents are feeling very conflicted with the realities that a lot of hospitals are not allowing fathers to be in the room with their significant others as they are giving birth to the child. So the rule, which according to, I want to get this right. So the rule, which according to the New York Post was reportedly put in place to help stop the spread of COVID-19, was met with a lot of criticism. And the New York Midwives Group warned that such a restriction could potentially lead to more people giving birth at home. Expectant fathers and others are petitioning to end the ban on birthing partners and support persons. So the concern for midwives is that parents are going to choose to birth from home so that both parents can be present, but that may not be the best birthing plan for all mothers that are giving birth.
Yeah.
So what do you think? I mean, the question is like, is it fair to deprive dads and others of experiencing the birth of their child? I will just say, just off rip, before I even throw it to y'all, like, I think the word fair in the context of the world we're in right now kind of doesn't really apply. Like, you know, it's like, that's, to me, that's not really, it's just like more so, what do we, how can we
do? How about this?
Yeah.
Let's rephrase the question. What if it was, if seeing your child be born could cause someone to die, would you want to do it?
Yeah, I think most fathers and mothers, Tam, tell me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't you rather see your child live the rest of their life versus just seeing the moment of birth? Like, I would try to think the long haul of keeping my family safe, of keeping my child safe. I don't know if you guys heard the story about the guy that tried to hide his symptoms.
Yeah.
And his wife ended up getting COVID.
Yeah. And
I don't know if she made it or not.
I have a friend who was sharing a hospital room because she had complications with her stomach. And she and the person sharing the room split by a curtain. They were there for whatever unknown reasons. And she had no visitors because she's visiting here. So she's stuck at the hospital here and she had no visitors coming in. And the other person was having visitors. So they had, in a span of 2 weeks, maybe about 10 to 15 visitors. And they both ended up getting COVID. So I'm just saying it can be that visceral. It can be that, well,
I mean,
quick to happen.
I feel like it just plain sucks because we all understand why, they have to do this. And yeah, there are ways of seeing the birth, maybe, somebody can FaceTime, one of the nurses or doctors. For me, just experiencing birth, it's, especially if it's your first child, you want that like moral support. And sometimes the birth just does not go as planned.
And you want an advocate in the room too. Like, I know there's mothers who are so, drugged up, et cetera, that they can't necessarily make the best decision at the time.
That's right.
And I remember I threw up like 3-4 times. And I did exactly what I was supposed to do, not eat when I had to take the medicine because I had 2 C-sections. And I remember just vomiting, and I felt like I was going to choke. And I remember I had my doula in there. She kind of helped turn me over. And then I saw Adam's face, and just having his presence there made me feel safe. So you can imagine being in this room, giving birth for the first time, seeing all these, in a hospital room, it's not as, it's not as warm, and you're looking at all these people you don't know, and it's scary. I understand why we have to do it. And it sucks. I feel for the mom. And then also, obviously, you feel for the husband or the partner not physically able to.
Tam, I have a question. If bringing your partner or your husband into the room is the larger issue, is it an option? How easy or how possible is it an option to have a home birth? Obviously, you have to have those people checked out, with your doula and stuff. But is that applicable to everybody?
No, and it depends on what
Yeah.
kind of birth you want. I know for me, I wanted to go as natural as possible, meaning I didn't want an epidural. I ended up getting one. But I didn't want to have a home birth because I am a worrywart and I would just be stressed out thinking of what could possibly go wrong right now. And the last thing you want to do is be stressed when
Yeah.
you're giving birth because so I think it depends. There are women that's what they want, and it's a great experience for them.
Yeah.
Like you, Adrian, you want to do that?
I would love to have a home birth. I mean, that would be the goal, but things happen, and I would hope that everything would go safely, but you don't know that. So I wouldn't encourage someone who may have health issues, or they've been told that this is not something that's recommended for them, but because they want the father there, they're going to go ahead and take this risk. There are risks to having a home birth, because God forbid if you end up in a situation where the baby's umbilical cord is wrapped around their neck. There's so many different things that cause for emergency C-sections, and that becomes a lot more difficult when you're at home.
You know what? This is the thing. I think we've been talking about this for a while, how we are going to have to change our mindset as a country, because there are things that's just different. Life will never be the same. I don't care how much we try to get back to normal. And, our healthcare workers are putting their lives at risk every day.
Yeah.
I understand that you want to be there for your baby, and that in the past used to be that way. But you got to remember, that healthcare worker is going to have your baby. Then they got to go to another room and have another baby, and then another room to go to have another baby. So I just think that it's just a mindset. Back in the 50s and 60s, dads wasn't even in the delivery room. They would wait outside and then smoke cigars and all that kind of stuff, but this is a pandemic. And we have to think differently. And sometimes the things that we normally do, we have to, for all of us to be safe. And I just, I'm like, the healthcare workers, I'm for them. And it's like, you have to trust those. Now, this is the problem, is that, there are some people that don't trust the healthcare workers and the doctors. So you got to make sure you got a good doctor that you can trust. And maybe, I think as the restrictions ease, maybe they can test the father before for
That's
COVID.
what I was thinking. Maybe
We
there's
don't
a
even have enough
test that they
testing
can-
right now for the people who are actually sick.
I'm talking about further down.
I mean, my husband on Insecure, Wade, Elaine Marcus, him and his wife are 2 days overdue. I mean, they're like about to have this baby in the middle of this quarantine, and they've had to completely shift their birthing plan. But they also understand, like, this is kind of just what you have to do. And especially, I know, Tam, as a mother, you don't want to bring the baby in with stress. So you kind of like have to just deal with it. But all of it ends up being, I think, just the thought process of what are the ways that we're adjusting. I mean, listen, we changed the entire TSA thing forever based on 9/11 and what happened that one day. So we can't necessarily be surprised about the fact that there's going to be big changes that happen, considering something that's still going on.
Yep.
It's a new normal, people. It really is.
Let me ask you guys about something else that I've heard, just to kind of get your own personal thoughts. So we've all heard, or maybe you haven't, but have you heard white women referred to as Karens? Have you guys heard that running around in lingo?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we call all the cops for the black folks living their lives.
So journalist Julie Bindel ignited this huge debate when she tweeted out, "Does anyone else think that the Karen slur is women hating and based on class prejudice?" So the internet had a ton of things to say, including Alicia Sanchez Jill, who disagreed, and I want to read what she said. Karen was a term created specifically by Black women to talk about white women's interpersonal and state violence against us and our communities, calling the police on us for getting coffee, threatening to have us fired, talking down to us at work when we're now essential. So, ladies, what is your take on all of this?
I just think it's crazy when people have the audacity to even compare this in the slightest way to the N-word. It's just insane to me. Hit me with an applause for that, Lonnie.
I'm already on it.
I agree with you,
It's just nuts.
Adrian.
Like,
There's no that I think it's an invalid argument. The N word, there's lots of negative history and painful history connected to that word. And Karen is a name. Karen is Karen.
Look, let me put it this way. For a long time, we was hitting Felicia with the bye Felicia. I didn't hear nobody saying, I know people named Felicia, and that is very offensive to them. Nobody was saying that for Felicia. What about Fifi? You know what I'm saying?
Fifi.
Obviously, reducing somebody to a stereotype can sting, but this is not a slur. There are white
also
women
not
that are
a
Karens.
stereotype.
There are Linglings that are Linglings. Like it's not. It's just a joke. That's kind of like you kind of know who that person is. Like, but it's not meant to be a slur, and it's definitely not to be compared to the N word. Come on, let's not get crazy there.
But
There are people that are like that.
call you out. It's meant to call you out on behavior, right? So like Karen is basically, as the journalist said, it's indicative of when white women in particular are exercising their privilege in ways that are specifically offensive to Black counterparts, or I think just people of color in general. It's an overexertion of privilege and obliviousness of it. And that's what it is. And so it's really like, you're Karening right now. Check yourself. And the truth is, don't nobody want to be checked, especially by people that they in their mind have decided are lesser than them.
I have a question. What do you feel about, let's say there's a Black girl named Karen and she's like, I'm kind of hating that my name is Karen right now. Isn't it kind of the equivalent to people being like, well, somebody named Felicia was being told bye all the time? It's just, there's a bigger message here.
Everybody want to just,
If
you know,
you're
go
really going to
ahead,
get
man.
offended, if you're really
I
going to
think
get
there's a
offended
bigger
by
message
just
here.
describing, and it has nothing to do with the actual name Karen. It's just like you're being that, and so it's
It's a
just a
big
quick name to kind of like describe what you're being. It doesn't mean Karen is a bad person. You're being one.
I feel like folks be in the oppression Olympics though. Like they be like, we like there are groups of people that are just like, we want to be oppressed too.
Let me tell you something that's offensive or what's not, since we're talking about this. Yahoo News reported a story about a single mother who took her 5-year-old daughter shopping with her, and fearing being judged and criticized by other people, she actually put a sign on the baby's back. And the sign basically said, please don't judge her. She can't leave her daughter at home. She's a single mother. And please stay 6 feet back. So ladies, what do you think about what this mom did?
She don't have to explain herself to
No,
anybody.
that she even has to feel the need to do that. But I think we do live in a well,
Time.
yeah, we live in a day and age where people are always judging. That sometimes you even
Social
have to
media.
put a disclaimer. Yeah, with social media.
Yeah.
You even have to put a little disclaimer before you post something so that people just don't go in. But it's none of anyone else's business, right?
I just feel
Yeah.
like it's a slippery slope. You start putting signs on kids' backs because you don't want to be judged by strangers. Like that's a slippery slope. Like we're already doing something weird in the social media world. That feels like this merge of like real life, like putting it's a baby, it's your baby, you in the world, you gotta take your baby in the world.
Yeah, I also think there's a sense of humor with it, though. There's also a stop. I don't even want to hear you, because I'm here to shop. I got kids. I got a whole thing. We're all in this together. We're all trying to fight for our safety, but I'm aware of what you're probably thinking. Like, I also think it's just like a joke where she's over it.
Well, and she did have a mask on, a little girl. Now, I went walking the other day and I saw a lady and she had on a mask and she had 2 children with her, but the babies didn't have on a mask. So, you know, me being Auntie Lonnie, I said I would recommend that the babies have a mask before you do, Karen.
Well, you know, they always say put
My
your mask on
God.
first before the babies.
They
Yeah.
do.
Oxygen.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. You know,
I mean,
so
according to
that
Dr.
is-
Oz,
How did
who
she
cares if-
respond, Lonnie? How did she respond to that?
Yeah, that was my question.
she was saying, you know, she said that she was so busy that she didn't even think about wrapping up their faces. And I was like, for real?
She
And I
thought
was
about
like,
hers.
"Come on." Yeah, but she
On a
put
walk?
hers on. But the 2 babies. But see, this is okay. So then it leads to the story of this is probably the reason why the lady put that on the baby's back. I mean, yes,
To
it's nobody's
avoid
business.
somebody talking
Right.
about her.
Exactly. You know what I mean? It's over. But like we keep saying, y'all, these are different times. People are scared. People are
Yeah.
concerned. People
And
gonna be
anything
doing
that happens to you affects me. We got to remember that. Anything that
Yes.
happens to you affects me, affects my mom. Like, that's a different. We talk about here how offended we get when somebody talks about our family or our loved one. Guys, this is the offense is the COVID-19. Anybody who brings it around our biz is affecting us and our family and our kin. So,
Absolutely.
of course, it's reason to get offended.
Well, if you just go out, just make sure you make sure you protect your baby too. You don't walk around with your mask. Make a little baby mask,
Yeah.
all right?